So there's been a lot of talk lately about J.K. Rowling. If you don't know, she got into a Twitter argument with Piers Morgan, who hasn't really been supporting Trump, but rather just defending him against ridiculous claims of Nazism and white supremacy, and obviously debunking the Muslim ban idea. Piers appeared on Bill Maher the other day, and well, this is what happened.
Calm down, Bill. There is no Muslim ban. If there was,
fuck off.
Sorry, why don't we...
Fuck off.
Oh, okay.
There's a fucking Muslim ban.
Okay.
He said there was a Muslim
This
ban.
is the point.
There's a Muslim
This is
ban.
a talk about the hysteria. I'm talking about 85% of the world's Muslims are allowed into the country.
This is what you do, Piers. You say, he hasn't done this, he hasn't done that, he's not going to do all these things. Give him a fucking chance, mate.
And
you know what I mean?
Why not?
Hitler didn't kill the Jews on the first day. He worked up to it.
Mate.
J.K. Rowling took to Twitter after the incident, claiming that it was extremely satisfying to hear Piers Morgan being told to fuck off on live TV, to which Piers said, "This is why I haven't read a single word of Harry Potter." And the argument continued, and then Rowling ended the debate with, "If only you'd read Harry Potter, you'd know the downside of sucking up to the biggest bully in school is getting burned alive." The tweet got massive attention with hundreds of thousands of favorites and retweets. Leftists in general seem to adore Harry Potter and their social justice hero, J.K. Rowling. But there is one important fact that J.K. and her fans seem to be omitting when using Harry Potter as an argument, and that is that Harry Potter is fiction. It is not real. It is fantasy. It is not a political science textbook. J.K. is not a philosopher. Harry Potter is not an international relations how-to guide. In no situation should Harry Potter be the device that people interpret the world by. Rowling seems to fall onto the end of the political debate where we open up our borders and the world lives happily ever after in a multicultural, peaceful dream. War will be over, there will be no conflict or terrorism. We'll save everyone in the Middle East by dropping our defenses and letting everyone in. Now, she can go ahead and write that fantasy narrative in her head all she wants, but the real world is a lot different than Harry Potter, Miss Rowling. For example, in Harry Potter, Padma Patil was a happy little witch attending Hogwarts. In reality, she has to deal with the horrors of barbaric practices within Islam. Practices that the West hopes to keep out of their society. The actress of Padma Patil was actually beaten and branded a prostitute by her brother because she dated a Hindu instead of a Muslim, and her brother and father threatened to kill her. She had to flee her home. I know the left like to ignore that this world exists, and they like to stick to the realm where they're all happy wizards and all Trump supporters are Death Eaters. But this is just not the case in the real world. But fine, if you really want to play the game of using your books to apply them to real-world politics, let's do that, JK. Let me ask you, why did the Wizards build platform 9 3/4? Why did they have a magical brick wall to keep Muggles out? Is it because maybe Muggles had some barbaric cultural practices of burning witches, and they wanted to keep their worlds separate for fear that Muggles wouldn't understand them? Keep them separate in order to have peace and safety? Oh, and not only did they have one magical barrier, Hogwarts itself had its own barrier as well to keep out unfriendly enemies. It's almost like you yourself know that walls and borders are a good thing, JK. It's almost like you yourself know that vetting people before they enter a different land is a good idea in order to keep the people within safe. I mean, with the Salem witch trials and the way Muggles treated witches and wizards historically, it's not like the wizards didn't have a reason to be afraid. Also, the only prominent Muggles we meet in the books are the Dursleys, who were extremely abusive towards Harry because he was a wizard. JK, are you really so dumb that you don't realize your own books disprove your points? Seriously though, in the real world we don't have one race that are almost literal gods compared to the other. So I think everyone should know it's silly to read Harry Potter as an allegory for modern society. But at this point, it seems like millennials' disconnect with reality is so strong that they can only engage with politics through ridiculous pop culture references. They have to use gifs of Ariana Grande flipping her hair as arguments and smashing stuff as a form of political protest. Y'all need to grow up. You most of all, JK, you're an adult. You should know your books are fantasy and not be trying to push them into political debates. Yelling "fuck you" at Piers Morgan may indeed be satisfying to those who dislike him, but it is not an argument, and neither is talking about your fiction books. If you really want to prove Piers wrong, if you really want to critique Trump, stay in the realm of reality. But I really doubt you and your hysterical celebrity friends will do that, because leaving your fantasy safe space would require admitting Piers Morgan was right, and your narrative always comes before truth. If you enjoyed that video, then be sure to hit like and subscribe.